my girlfriend. She texted, "He has no one else. I'm moving in to be his nurse." I didn't reply. 3 years of silence, then a knock. Her, with a toddler. "He passed. We're a family now," she declared. I smiled slightly. "Enter." I gestured toward the stairs, and the silence after that said everything. I'm 34 now, but I was 31 when everything happened. I'd been with my girlfriend for about 4 years at that point. We met through mutual friends, moved in together after a year, talked about marriage eventually. Nothing rushed, just comfortable. She worked as a physical therapist. I was in software development. We had a decent life, decent apartment, decent plans for the future. Her ex was always a presence in her life, not in a relationship way, but in a we grew up together way. They dated in high school, broke up when they went to different colleges, stayed friends. He'd call sometimes. They'd grab coffee maybe once every few months. I never worried about it because she was always transparent. Going to meet him for coffee, he's going through a breakup, or he got a new job, meeting him for lunch to celebrate. I appreciated the honesty. Then he got sick. Some rare autoimmune thing that progressively got worse. She started visiting him more often, bringing him meals, helping him get to doctor appointments when he needed it. His family wasn't really in the picture. Parents had passed away years ago, no siblings, his friends had drifted away. She felt responsible for him in this way. I couldn't quite understand but tried to respect. "He has nobody else," she'd say. "I can't just abandon him when he's at his worst." "I'm not asking you to abandon him. I'm just saying maybe there are limits to what you should be doing." "What limits?" "He's sick. He needs help. There are professionals for this, nurses, home health aides. He can't afford that. His insurance barely covers his treatments." I dropped it because what was I supposed to say? Don't help your dying friend? I'm not that person. But it escalated. She went from visiting a few times a week to being there almost every evening. She'd come home at 10, 11 at night, exhausted. We stopped having dinners together, stopped watching shows, stopped having much of a relationship at all. 3 years ago, I got the text. I was at work, middle of a meeting, pulled out my phone during a break, and there it was. "He has no one else. I'm moving in to be his nurse. I know this isn't what we planned, but I can't leave him alone in this condition. I'm sorry. I'll come get my things this weekend." I read it 5 times, sat in the conference room staring at my phone while people filed back in for the second half of the meeting. I didn't reply. What was there to say? She'd made her choice. She'd chosen him. That weekend, she came with her mom to get her stuff. I stayed in the bedroom, let them pack everything up, load it into a truck. When I heard the front door close, I came out. The apartment looked empty. All her plants, her books, her decorations, gone. Half the furniture gone. Just me and my stuff left. She texted me a few days later. "I'm sorry it ended this way. I hope you understand. I couldn't live with myself if I didn't do this." I didn't respond. She texted again a week later. "Can we at least talk? I don't want things to end with us not speaking." I blocked her number. Update 1. The first few months were rough. I'd come home to that half-empty apartment and just feel this weight. Not even heartbreak, really, just emptiness. She'd chosen someone else. Not romantically, technically, but in every way that mattered. She'd chosen to leave our life, our relationship, our future, to take care of him. I threw myself into work, took on extra projects, worked late, worked weekends, anything to not be in that apartment thinking about what I'd lost. Friends tried to be supportive. "She made her choice, man. You deserve better. You'll find someone who prioritizes you." All the standard breakup platitudes. They meant well, but none of it helped. About 6 months after she left, I ran into one of her coworkers at a coffee shop. She recognized me, came over to say hi. "How are you doing?" she asked. "I'm managing." I heard what happened. That must have been really hard. It was what it was. She hesitated, then said, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but she's really struggling. He's gotten worse, and it's taking a toll on her. She's basically a full-time caregiver now, barely working, barely sleeping. That was her choice. I know. I just thought you'd want to know. I don't. She looked uncomfortable. Right. Sorry. I should go. After she left, I sat there with my coffee thinking about what she'd said. Part of me felt vindicated. She'd made a sacrifice and was suffering for it. Part of me felt sad for her. Most of me just felt numb. I sold the apartment about a year after she left. Couldn't stand being there anymore. Bought a small house on the other side of town, something completely different. New place, new start. Went on some dates, but nothing serious. Honestly, wasn't interested in anything serious. Just focused on work, on building a life that was entirely mine. The house became my sanctuary. I decorated it exactly how I wanted. Set up a home office, got a dog, something I'd always wanted, but she was allergic to. A golden retriever. I named something simple, something that was just mine. The dog helped more than I expected. Having something that needed me, that was excited to see me every day, that didn't judge or leave. Update 2. 3 years passed. I'd think about her sometimes, but not often. I'd moved on in the way you move on from something that ended badly. Not with closure, just with distance and time. I'd dated a few people casually. Nothing that stuck. I was okay with that. I had my house, my job, my routines. I went to the gym, had a few hobbies, saw friends on weekends. It wasn't an exciting life, but it was stable, predictable. Mine. Then, 3 weeks ago, there was a knock on my door. It was early evening, around 6. I wasn't expecting anyone. My dog started barking before I even got to the door. I opened it. She was standing there. Older, thinner, tired-looking. And next to her, holding her hand, was a toddler. Maybe 2 years old. Dark hair, big eyes, looking up at me with that curious stare kids have. "Hi," she said. I just stared at her. My dog was still barking behind me, sensing my tension. "Can we come in? I need to talk to you." "I don't think that's a good idea. Please. Just for a minute." I should have said no, should have closed the door. But I was too shocked to think clearly. I stepped aside, holding my dog by the collar. She came in, the kid toddling beside her, immediately fascinated by the dog. She looked around at my house. "Nice place." "Thanks. You got a dog?" "Yeah." "Look, I know this is out of nowhere, but he passed. 2 months ago. And I've been trying to figure out what to do, and I realized we're a family now. You and me and her." She gestured to the kid. My brain was trying to catch up. "What?" "This is his daughter. He had her with someone he was seeing before he got really sick. The mother wasn't in the picture, never wanted to be, so I've been raising her since he got custody when she was a few months old." "You've been raising his kid?" "Yes." "For how long?" "Almost 2 years." "And you're telling me this now because he's gone. And I can't do this alone. I thought maybe, since we were together once, since we had something real, we could try again. As a family." I couldn't form words, just stood there processing what she was saying. She'd left me 3 years ago to take care of her ex, had apparently raised his kid for 2 years, and now that he was dead, she was showing up at my door expecting, what? That I'd just take her back? Take them both in? "He passed. We're a family now," she said again, like it was the most natural thing in the world. I smiled slightly, not because I was happy, because the absurdity of it was almost funny. "Enter," I said, gesturing toward the stairs. "Let me show you something." She looked confused but followed me upstairs. The toddler stayed downstairs, playing with my dog, completely oblivious to the tension. I took her to the master bedroom, opened the door. Inside, my girlfriend, my actual current girlfriend, was reading in bed. She looked up, saw us, and her expression went from confused to understanding in about 2 seconds. This is my girlfriend, I said calmly. We've been together for about a year. She lives here. My ex went pale. You're seeing someone? Yes. Was I supposed to wait for you? I thought maybe you'd still what? Still be available after you left me 3 years ago? After you cut off all contact? After you chose someone else over our entire relationship? I didn't choose him like that. You literally chose him. You moved out of our apartment to take care of him. You ended our relationship for him. What else would you call that? My current girlfriend got out of bed, came over to me, took my hand. Do you want me to give you two some privacy? No, this won't take long. My ex looked between us. I can't believe this. After everything we had ended when you sent me that text. You made your choice. I made mine. I moved on. But I came back 3 years later with a kid that isn't mine, expecting me to just slot back into your life like nothing happened. I shook my head. That's not how this works. Where am I supposed to go? I don't know. Figure it out. The same way I had to figure it out when you left. You're really going to turn me away? With a child? I'm not turning you away. I'm not letting you in. There's a difference. She started crying. I gave up everything for him. I sacrificed my career, my life, my relationship with you, and now he's gone, and I have nothing. That was your choice. You chose to sacrifice all of that. I didn't ask you to. I actually asked you not to. I had to. No, you didn't. You wanted to. And that's fine. That was your decision to make. But you don't get to show up years later expecting me to fix the consequences of that decision. My girlfriend squeezed my hand. I could feel her supporting me, literally and figuratively. I think you should go, I said quietly. Please. I'm not doing this. Get your kid and leave. She stood there for another moment, tears streaming down her face. Then she left the room. I heard her go downstairs, heard her gathering the toddler, heard my dog whining, confused by the tension, heard the front door open and close. I stood there with my girlfriend, listening to the silence. Update 3. After she left, I sat on the couch for a long time just processing what had happened. My girlfriend sat next to me, my dog's head in her lap, didn't push me to talk, just stayed close. You okay? She finally asked. I don't know. That was surreal. Do you want to tell me what that was about? I explained the whole story. My ex, her leaving, the 3 years of silence, her showing up expecting us to just... What? Play family? That's insane, my girlfriend said. She really thought you'd just take her back after all that? Apparently. With someone else's kid. Yeah. That's incredibly presumptuous. It is. We sat in silence for a moment. Then she said, Are you having second thoughts? About what? About sending her away. She seemed desperate. She made her choices. I'm not responsible for fixing her life. I know. I just want to make sure you're okay with how you handled it. I am. I don't owe her anything. Okay, as long as you're sure. I'm sure. But over the next few days, I kept thinking about it. About the kid, mostly. The toddler who had nothing to do with any of this. Who'd just lost her father. Who was being dragged around by someone trying to find stability. I didn't feel bad for my ex. She'd made her bed. But the kid, that bothered me more than I wanted to admit. Update 4. A week after she showed up, she texted me. I'd never unblocked her number because I never thought she'd contact me again. But there was the message, popping up on my screen. I'm sorry for showing up like that. I was desperate and not thinking clearly. I shouldn't have assumed anything. I stared at the message for a while, debated whether to respond. My girlfriend saw me looking at my phone, asked if I was okay. She texted, apologizing. Are you going to respond? I don't know. Part of me wants to just block her again. What does the other part want? Closure, maybe. Or just to make sure she understood why I said no. Then respond. Get your closure. Finally, I typed, "It's fine. Water under the bridge. Can I ask you something?" "What? Do you hate me?" "No. I don't feel anything about you. That's the truth. That's somehow worse than hating me. Maybe, but it's honest. I really did love you. When we were together. I know. But love isn't always enough. I made a mistake leaving you. You made the choice you thought was right at the time. And you think it was the wrong choice? I think it was your choice to make, and I don't get a say in whether it was right or wrong. Only you do." She didn't respond for a while. Then, "For what it's worth, I'm sorry. For everything." "I appreciate that. Are you happy with her?" "Yeah, I am." "Good. That's good. You deserve to be happy." "So do you. I hope you find that." "Thanks." That was the last message. She didn't text again. I didn't reach out. I showed the conversation to my girlfriend that night, wanted to be transparent about everything. "You handled that well," she said. "Did I?" "Yeah. You were honest but not cruel. That's hard to do with an ex." "I didn't want to be cruel. I just wanted to be clear. You were. And for what it's worth, I'm proud of how you handled all of this." "Thanks. That means a lot." Update 5. About a month after that exchange, I ran into her at a grocery store. We literally almost walked into each other, turning down the same aisle. The toddler was sitting in the cart, munching on some snack. "Hi," she said. "Hi. How are you?" "I'm good. You?" "Managing. Got a job finally. Part-time. But it's something." "That's good." "Yeah. Daycare's expensive, but we're making it work." "Good." We stood there in awkward silence for a moment. I noticed she looked better than when she'd shown up at my door. Less exhausted, more put together, like she was starting to get her footing. "I wasn't lying, you know," she said, "when I said I loved you. I did. I do, in a way. You were important to me." "I know. I just chose wrong. I thought I was doing the right thing, being loyal, being there for someone who needed me, but I didn't realize what I was giving up until it was too late. These things happen. Do you ever think about what could have been? If I'd made different choices? Sometimes, but not in a longing way, more in a that was a different timeline way. Yeah, I get that." The toddler started fussing. She turned her attention to the kid, handed her another snack. The little girl smiled up at her, completely trusting, completely dependent. "She's lucky to have you," I found myself saying. "You stepped up when nobody else would." "I had to. She had nobody." "You didn't have to. You chose to. Just like you chose to take care of him. You're a caretaker. That's who you are. And you're not." "No, I'm not. That's why it would never have worked. You needed someone who understood that part of you, who could support it. I couldn't. I needed someone who'd choose me first. And you found that." "Yeah, I did. I'm happy for you, really. I hope you find your person too, someone who appreciates what you give. Maybe someday. Right now I'm just focused on her. That's good. She needs that stability." "I should go," she said. "She's getting cranky." "Yeah, take care." "You too." She pushed the cart past me, down the aisle. I watched her go. This person who used to be such a huge part of my life, now just a stranger I occasionally ran into at the grocery store. But unlike before, I felt something. Not longing, not regret, just a kind of peaceful acknowledgement that we'd both moved on in the ways we needed to. Final update. It's been 6 months since she showed up at my door. I haven't seen her since the grocery store encounter. Haven't heard from her either. Mutual friends tell me she's doing okay, working full-time now, has a place of her own, the kids in daycare. She's building a life, slowly but surely, One friend mentioned she's even started dating someone, another single parent she met through daycare, someone who understands the life she's chosen. I'm still with my girlfriend. We moved in together officially last month. She already lived here most of the time anyway, but we made it official, changed the address on her mail, combined some finances, the whole thing. We're talking about getting engaged next year, maybe married the year after. No rush, but we're building towards something real and lasting. Sometimes I think about my ex and wonder if she regrets her choices, but mostly I don't think about her at all. She's a chapter that ended, a story I've moved past. She made her decisions based on what she thought was right at the time, and I can't judge her for that. But I also don't have to let those decisions affect my life now. The truth is, her showing up didn't change anything for me. It confirmed something I already knew. I'd moved on. I'd built a new life. And that life didn't have room for someone who'd walked away when things got complicated, who'd chosen someone else over our relationship, who'd expected me to wait indefinitely for her to come back. My girlfriend and I talk about it sometimes, usually late at night, when we're both tired and honest. She asked me last week if I thought my ex showing up had affected our relationship at all. In a way, I admitted. It made me realize how good I have it with you, how different it is to be with someone who chooses me, who prioritizes us, who doesn't make me feel like I'm competing for attention. I'll always choose you, she said simply. I know. That's why I'm still here. We were quiet for a moment. Then she asked, "Do you think she'll be okay? Your ex?" "Eventually. She's a survivor. She'll figure it out. And the kid? The kid will be fine. She's got someone who loves her unconditionally. That's more than a lot of kids have. You're more compassionate than you pretend to be. Don't tell anyone. I have a reputation to maintain." She laughed, kissed me. "Your secret's safe with me. I'm 34, in a healthy relationship, living in a house I own with a dog I love, doing work I enjoy. I'm not holding on to the past. I'm not bitter about what happened. I'm just living my life, the one I rebuilt after she left. And that's enough." The silence that followed my ex seeing my girlfriend that night said everything that needed to be said. I'd moved on, and she'd have to find her own way forward, just like I had. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is let them go completely. Not out of cruelty, but out of understanding that some chapters are meant to close, some doors are meant to stay shut, and some people are meant to find their happiness separately, not together. I learned that you can love someone and still not be the right person for them. I learned that sacrifice isn't always noble. Sometimes it's just choosing one thing over another and living with those consequences. I learned that moving on isn't about forgetting or forgiving. It's about building something new that doesn't require you to look back. And most importantly, I learned that when someone knocks on your door after years of silence, you're allowed to show them the life you built without them, and you're allowed to close that door again. Not with anger, not with satisfaction, just with the quiet understanding that some things can't be undone, some choices can't be unmade, and that's okay. That's just life moving forward, the way it's supposed to.